Following breaking news, several people are hurt when a bus and a tractor trailer collide on I-64 near the top of a mountain.
We have icy conditions on top of Afton Mountain. Afton Mountain is closed eastbound.
We have team coverage from the road conditions to what a driver's brother has to say. Plus, is your personal information at risk when using social media? We have tips on how you can keep yourself safe while browsing the internet.
8 News at 6 starts now.
I have a vehicle on its side. I have icy conditions at the top of the mountain. All units approach with caution.
You just heard the 911 dispatcher from a crash involving a tractor trailer and a tour bus. 19 people were hurt and rushed to area hospitals early this morning. The tractor trailer had overturned on I-64 near the top of Afton Mountain when a tour bus wasn't able to stop, slamming right into it. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Talia Cunningham. 8 News has been following this story all day long for you. We have live team coverage right now. Meteorologist Travis Michaels will have an update on the weather conditions and what you can expect later on tonight. But first, we start things off with 8 News reporter Julius Kizzy, who spoke to the bus driver's brother and has an update. Julius, what did he tell you?
Well, Talia, Alexander Burris, he's the one I talked to earlier. He said he just came from the hospital a few hours ago to talk to me about his brother who was in the hospital after being the bus driver in that incident, and he's expected to be out of the hospital in a few days. Now, Alexander Burris, he's the owner of the Silver Lining Charters and Tours bus company, and his brother was driving this morning. He says the tour bus regularly takes trips to the casino in Charlottesville, West Virginia, every 2 months. Now, the group was coming back from the casino to Charlottesville when this crash actually happened. Now, Burris and his brother are close, and he says this accident is a tragedy for everyone involved. His brother Andrew has fractured ribs, but he's thankful his brother is alive and is hoping he'll make a full recovery.
It's a real downer. You know, you don't know what to think. Your heart just sinking, your stomach just tighten up, and you just feel, oh man, some kind of way.
Now, Alexander tells me most of the victims that are in the hospital should be sent home over the next few days. Now, his brother Andrew, he'll be actually headed home too as well in the next few days. Now, he had more to tell me about his relationship with his brother and how today's accident has actually affected him. I'll have more on that tonight at 11 here on 8 News. Here on Afton Mountain, Julius Kizzy, 8 News.
Be advised, it is very icy.
Yeah, today's crash is a reminder for drivers about being prepared for the changing road and weather conditions. Now, after the crash, crews were putting salt on the roads. They say the drop in temperatures and moisture stuck around in the area. The temperatures and that moisture making the roads slick for drivers. A VDOT spokesperson says there was a lot more moisture than they predicted up in the mountain, which made a difference for drivers.
We knew the pavement was going to be cold. What was missing from that forecast was any moisture being there. So we have that little microclimate up on Afton Mountain, which is very different from conditions on either side of the mountain.
And we are joined here in the Storm Tracker 8 Weather Center with meteorologist Travis Michaels. Travis, I've lived in that area for several years. Afton Mountain, heavy fog, visibility makes it very low and hard for drivers, and icy conditions, those cold temperatures we had yesterday.
Yeah, and it's the issue with the overpasses, higher elevation, temperatures are colder, and then if you have some of that fog out there, it can be freezing fog, which is kind of almost like a snow, and then that sticks to the road, creates those slick conditions, and of course, you know, that's why most likely we had the issue that we had. And I will let you know, still dealing with foggy conditions even a little bit later this afternoon in that same area, so still not necessarily improving. Take a look at those low temperatures. What we're not necessarily going to see on this is the Afton Mountain temperature, but it's between Stanton and the Charlottesville area, so we can probably think if you divide these two numbers in half, you go up in elevation, which is happening right about there. It was close to freezing. I was watching that this morning as this was happening. The good news is, though, temperatures began to climb. We're now hanging on to the 40s out there. It's still foggy. You see it's 32 in Stanton right now. Could be close to that freezing mark, so icy conditions possible towards our west as we head overnight. Good news for you, though. The temperatures today still cool, but the winds now beginning to slow just a bit. Out of the north right now at 5 to 10 miles per hour. That's better than the 10 to 20 we were dealing with earlier today. Wind chill values not too bad at the moment, but we do expect them to get a little cooler out there. Feels like the low 40s across the Commonwealth, and we're going to continue to get on the cooler side tonight as temperatures dip a little bit lower. We're headed down to about 37 degrees here in Richmond, and of course those clouds sticking with us going to make for a pretty mild start to your day tomorrow before we have some warmer weather in the forecast.
All right, Travis, thank you. Make sure you're prepared for the winter road conditions now. 8 News has you covered on what you should have a mechanic look at or check out. And make sure to get your tires checked, not only for the tread, but tire pressure. Make sure your radiator fluid isn't mostly water. It will freeze in the cold weather. Keep your car full of gas at all times and check your battery and replace it if it's old. Now make sure you download the 8 News app. We'll have the latest updates on today's crash, and you can stay on top of the weather forecast and road conditions where you live. Moving on to an 8 News crime alert now. The person accused of shooting and killing a man in Hopewell is now off the streets. 21-year-old Deontay Henry is facing several charges, including murder. Officers went to Atlantic Street around 4:30 Friday afternoon. That's where they found Earl Osborne shot. He later died from his injuries at the hospital. Taking action alert for you tonight. Our world revolves around technology and social media, and that means a lot of your personal information is being turned over and possibly stolen. But there are steps you can take to protect yourself. ABC's Trevor Alt has a story.
We all know that we're spending hours upon hours looking at our phones and computers, but there's also concern that the sites we're visiting are looking too closely into us. The most recent data compiled by Consumer Reports finds that 70% of Americans lack confidence their personal data is private.
There's reason to be concerned, but I think the important thing for people to understand is it isn't a lost cause. There isn't nothing you can do.
So what steps can you take to protect both your privacy and security? For starters, you should try out what's called two-factor authentication. It sounds high-tech, but it's simple in practice, and you can find it in the security settings of places like your Google account. What it does is adds one extra step to your sign-in process, like pinging your phone to make sure that the person signing in as you really is you.
The idea is that if your password falls into the wrong hands, you're setting up an extra barrier that prevents the bad guys from getting access.
How about guarding your privacy from companies hungry for your personal habits? Facebook has a facial recognition system that can pick you out in photos you might not be aware of, but in the privacy filters, you can turn that off. And if you have an Amazon Echo, the company does have recordings of what you ask Alexa, but with a quick trip to the settings, you can allow yourself to delete those files.
You can say, Alexa, delete what I just said, or Alexa, delete everything I said today.
Maybe you're looking to be even more cautious and want to limit the data you're sending out altogether. There are alternatives at the ready. For your internet searches, try DuckDuckGo, which doesn't collect any information from its users. And for texting, apps like Signal offer end-to-end encryption and even let you have messages delete from your phone and the person you're messaging. Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
Definitely something to be mindful of. Well, in other news, part of a fishing pier collapsed early this morning when a loose boat crashed into it. Several agencies went to Buckrow Pier in Hampton this morning. That crash happened just before 6. People were on the pier as the boat was coming but ran away. The beach has been closed and fortunately no one was hurt. A local woman is spreading awareness about bullying and suicide. Find out what inspired her mission in your Positively Richmond. But first, a man is making sure a group of siblings stay together. We'll have their very special story after the break. Travis?
And the breezy winds we dealt with begin to slow as we kick off the work week. I'll break down everything you need to know, including a warming trend. That's when we come back. Talia?
You're watching 8 News at 6, covering the news where you live from Chesterfield County to Caroline County. Stay with us. 8 News. Be back after the break. Welcome back to 8 News at 6. We are staying on top of that breaking news for you today. The top story has been several people are hurt from a crash involving a tractor trailer and a bus. This all happened at Afton Mountain around 4:30 this morning. We're told the group on the bus was headed back to Charlottesville from a routine casino trip in West Virginia. You can get the details about the crash and the latest updates on our website, WRIC.com. New at 6 tonight, a man is keeping a family together in Washington, D.C. Now, he adopted 5 kids, and 4 of them are siblings. Victoria Sanchez has that special story.
So what are we building, Tim? Are you setting the standard?
A tower!
William Miles didn't imagine being a father of 5, but says this is who he's meant to be.
The focus and the love for them is just a totally different feeling. It's become, my purpose.
His oldest is 15-year-old Javon, a patient teen and role model for his younger siblings.
Javon hair. Make it pink and purple and rainbow.
5-year-old Tennyson, 4-year-old Sierra, 17-month-old Ava, and baby Farah, along with Miles' partner Stefan, make a household of 7.
All together, we're a family.
And the family grew over the years through fostering, then adopting the children. The 4 youngest are biological siblings, and Miles wanted to keep them together.
A lot of times people say, oh, it's so great that you do this, but failing to realize how much the children, fulfill me and pour into me and sustain me, so it's a good day.
He hopes his story will inspire others to open up their homes.
There's countless kids in foster care in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Miles and his partner are prepared to answer the children's questions when they're older about how this family came to be.
For now, we're just living in the moment and loving it. How Cece?
And we definitely love that story. That was Victoria Sanchez reporting. The adoption became official yesterday, which happened to be National Adoption Day.
That is so cool. And,
yeah.
and I'd love to see that, the fostering turned into the adoption. Fostering is something that's not usually talked about a lot, but it's a wonderful thing. There's kids out there that would like to be a part of your family, and welcome them in. It's a pretty cool story, a nice ending to that as well.
It is, and especially the fact they get to stay together.
Yeah, as a family, that's always a tough thing, I know, in some of those situations, so good for those
and
parents.
that rainbow hair.
Yeah.
Well, coming up, we have an update from Italy as tourists try to get off the island of water following major flooding. Travis?
And our high temperatures today below average, once again, only making it into the upper 40s. Tomorrow, looking similar, but I promise you warmer weather with 60s are right around the corner. Full details when we come back.
Tourists are struggling to get out of Venice, Italy after record flooding last week. Let's give you a closer look. The city is surrounded by water, but it isn't meant to experience extremely high levels. Several sites are closed for the water. Taxis will soon be suspended. It's the first major flooding event in 50 years. Venice is now under a state of emergency.
The most accurate forecast in Central Virginia. Now, your Storm Tracker 8 weather.
Well, thankfully, Travis, we are not dealing with any kind of flooding like that here at home, but what are we in store for the start of the week?
Well, going to be another cool one out there for us. So if you've enjoyed the weekend and you're thinking it's a little too windy for me, but I like those cool temps, you're going to love your Monday.
All right.
If you don't like it, well, I got that good forecast in store for you as well. Take a look at these temps out there across the Commonwealth. Northern portions of the Central Virginia area, we're talking 45 in Richmond, 43 in Bumpus, out in Madison, 40 degrees on the nose. Towards the northern neck, we've got 45 in Kilmarnock, Middle Peninsula Saluda coming in at 44. Now south of the James, similar conditions, but a little bit warmer as you head towards Wakefield and Williamsburg, middle 40s there, 45 in Purdy, 42 though in Crewe, and Dillwyn coming in on the far side of the map out there at 42 degrees. Now the winds today have begun to decrease, and it's all thanks in part to this coastal system that has begun to finally move out into the Atlantic Ocean a little more. We are expecting it's going to hug the coast a bit more. And that's fine that it didn't. So the wind's beginning to decrease, and as it slides north, it's going to continue to keep some cloud cover in store for us, meeting up with this approaching next system, and that's all going to be pushing through as we head through the next 24 to 48 hours. So the wind's beginning to die down across Central Virginia, and we'll continue to see those winds slowing as we head overnight. Still at 5 to 10 miles per hour until early tomorrow morning. This is 6 a.m. Then we dip down to about 5 to 10 for the afternoon, evening hours tomorrow. So winds decreasing, getting a little bit nicer here as we head through the next 24 hours. However, it is going to be cool tonight. Overnight lows dip down to the middle 30s for most of us. 37 in Richmond, 34 out in Farmville, up in Fredericksburg 36 degrees, and in Williamsburg 40 for that overnight low. We promised you the cloud cover does stick around, and that's what's going to keep the temperatures pretty even. It sort of acts like a blanket in the sense that it keeps our temperatures even. It doesn't allow for us to have any heat escape, but it also doesn't allow for any heat to come in either. So tomorrow, as you wake up at 8 o'clock, you'll see cloudy skies out there. Those cloud cover lingers through your afternoon, so temperatures not going to be so warm tomorrow. But watch. Through the evening hours, past midnight really, we begin to see some partial clearing across the area. That allows for our temps to get a little bit cooler out there into early Tuesday morning, and then hit or miss cloud cover into our Tuesday afternoon. That then leads into a lot more sunshine for the middle of our work week. I will let you know, though, for our Monday afternoon to kick off the work week, high temperatures still below average. We're about 10 to 12 degrees below average, only hitting about 49 for your afternoon tomorrow. Hey, the winds, though, northwest 5 to 10, looking a little bit nicer. Still cool, though, for this time of the year. If you're looking for some warmer temps, they're right around the corner. Yeah, plenty of sunshine builds in for your late Tuesday, mainly into Wednesday and Thursday. That means sunshine is back in the forecast. We're talking 62 by Thursday. Seasonal temps close to 70 on Friday, but rain moves in with extra cloud cover and cooler temps for our next weekend.
Thank you, Travis. A local woman is on a mission to spread awareness about bullying and suicide. It's your Positively Richmond tonight. Vincreta Hicks, also known as Able Woman, founded a nonprofit organization to show children, despite their differences, they should never give up. Hicks has a rare birth defect, and one of her legs is shorter than the other. She tells 8 News she was bullied growing up and shamed by her own family. Now she's using her life lessons to help young kids. And the Dominion Energy Garden Fest of Lights opens this week. It runs from November 22nd until January 6th at the Lewis Ginter Botanical Gardens. You can see lights and handcrafted decorations. It's also a contender for Best Botanical Garden Holiday Light Show. You have until Monday, December 2nd to vote. Winners will be announced on December 13th. Beautiful display there. Well, let's see what's happening.